The year is 1944. The world is engulfed in the flames of World War II, and the Pacific theater is a cauldron of intense conflict. The United States and the Empire of Japan are locked in a fierce struggle for dominance over the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific War, a brutal struggle between the United States and the Empire of Japan, is at a turning point. The stakes are incredibly high, with both nations pouring immense resources and manpower into the fight. Every island, every piece of land becomes a critical battleground in this epic confrontation. A seemingly insignificant island, Saipan, becomes a focal point. Located in the Mariana Islands, Saipan's strategic importance cannot be overstated. Its capture would provide the United States with a base to launch air raids on the Japanese mainland, bringing the war closer to Japan's doorstep. This small island, a dot in the vast Pacific Ocean, would witness a conflict that changed the course of the war. The lush landscapes and serene beaches of Saipan would soon be scarred by the horrors of battle, as both sides prepared for a confrontation that would test their resolve and determination. The Battle of Saipan, fought in the summer of 1944, was a clash of titans. U.S. Marines and Army soldiers stormed the beaches under heavy fire, facing a well-entrenched and determined Japanese defense. The initial landings were just the beginning of a grueling and bloody campaign that would last for weeks. It pitted the determined forces of the United States against the tenacious defenders of Imperial Japan. The Japanese soldiers, aware of the island's strategic importance, fought with unwavering resolve, employing guerrilla tactics and making use of the island's rugged terrain to their advantage. The outcome of this battle would have far-reaching consequences, impacting not just the military campaign but also the lives of countless civilians caught in the crossfire. The island's population, including many Japanese civilians, faced unimaginable hardships as the battle raged on. The fall of Saipan marked a significant turning point in the Pacific War, bringing the Allies one step closer to victory and signaling the beginning of the end for Imperial Japan. Prior to the battle for Saipan, the Pacific War had been a brutal back-and-forth struggle. The Japanese, after their surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, had enjoyed a string of early victories. They conquered vast swaths of territory, pushing deep into Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. However, the tide began to turn in 1942. The U.S. Navy's decisive victory at the Battle of Midway was a turning point. It crippled the Japanese fleet and gave the Americans the initiative. Island-hopping campaigns followed, with U.S. forces slowly but surely reclaiming lost ground. Saipan, part of the Mariana Islands, held immense strategic value for both sides. For the Americans, capturing Saipan would bring them closer to the Japanese mainland. It would provide a base for long-range B-29 bombers capable of striking the heart of Japan. For Japan, Saipan was a critical defensive line. Losing it would mean losing a vital airbase and opening up the home islands to devastating air raids. The island was heavily fortified and defended by a determined Japanese garrison prepared to fight to the death. On June 15, 1944, the American invasion force, spearheaded by the U.S. Marines, landed on the beaches of Saipan. Facing them were dug-in Japanese defenders ready to repel the invaders. The landing was met with fierce resistance. Japanese artillery and machine guns rained down on the approaching landing craft. Despite heavy losses, the Americans pushed inland. They slowly gained a foothold, their advance hampered by the challenging terrain and tenacious Japanese defense. The fighting was brutal and unforgiving, a testament to the determination of both sides. Section 5, a brutal struggle, key engagements and turning points. The Battle of Saipan raged for over 3 weeks. It was marked by several key engagements, each one a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. The battle for Mount Tapachau, the highest point on the island, was particularly brutal. Japanese forces entrenched in caves and bunkers fought tenaciously. Another turning point was the Japanese Banzai Charge. In a desperate attempt to break the American lines, thousands of Japanese soldiers and civilians charged into the American lines, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. Section 6. Leaders of the fray, key figures in the battle for Saipan. The Battle of Saipan saw leadership tested on both sides. On the American side, Lieutenant General Holland Smith, commander of the invasion force, faced criticism for the heavy casualties. Admiral Raymond Spruance, commander of the U.S. Fifth Fleet, played a crucial role in securing the waters around Saipan, enabling the landings and subsequent resupply. On the Japanese side, Lieutenant General Yoshitsugu Saito commanded the defense of Saipan. Known for his bravery and tactical acumen, Saito directed a stubborn defense, inflicting heavy losses on the Americans. However, facing inevitable defeat, he committed ritual suicide rather than surrender. Section 7. A costly victory. The impact of the battle on both sides. The Battle of Saipan ended on July 9, 1944, with a decisive American victory. This victory was a turning point in the Pacific theater, marking a significant step towards the eventual defeat of Japan. The island of Saipan, with its strategic location, became a crucial base for American operations. However, it came at a heavy cost. The battle was fierce and brutal, with both sides suffering tremendous losses. The lush landscapes of Saipan were transformed into scenes of devastation, with countless lives lost and many more forever changed. The Americans suffered over 13,000 casualties, including over 3,400 killed. The medics worked tirelessly to save lives, but the sheer number of wounded was overwhelming. The bravery and sacrifice of these soldiers were etched into the annals of history. The Japanese garrison was virtually annihilated, with over 24,000 soldiers killed and thousands of civilians perishing. The Japanese soldiers fought with relentless determination, often choosing death over surrender. The civilian population also suffered immensely, caught in the crossfire of this brutal conflict. The battle had a profound impact on both sides. For the people of Saipan, the war brought unimaginable suffering and loss. Homes were destroyed, families were torn apart, and the scars of battle were visible everywhere. For the Americans, it was a strategic victory that paved the way for the bombing campaign against the Japanese mainland. The airfields on Saipan became launching points for B-29 bombers, bringing the war closer to Japan's doorstep and signaling a shift in the momentum of the war. However, the high casualty rate shocked the American public and raised concerns about the cost of victory. The images of wounded soldiers and grieving families brought the harsh realities of war into American homes, prompting a deeper reflection on the human cost of this pivotal battle. Section 8. Beyond the battlefield, the aftermath of the Saipan campaign. The aftermath of the battle was equally tragic. Thousands of Japanese civilians, fearing capture and mistreatment by the Americans, committed suicide. Men, women, and children jumped from cliffs or blew themselves up with grenades, a testament to the propaganda and fear instilled by their government. The capture of Saipan also exposed a chilling new tactic employed by the Japanese kamikaze attacks. Pilots in suicide missions crashed their planes into American ships, marking a desperate turn towards fanatical resistance. Section 9. A stepping stone to victory. Saipan's lasting legacy. The Battle of Saipan was a pivotal moment in the Pacific War. Taking place in June 1944, it was a fierce and brutal confrontation that saw American forces clashing with the entrenched Japanese military. The battle lasted for over 3 weeks, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The island's strategic importance was clear to both the Allies and the Japanese, making it a fiercely contested piece of land. It marked the beginning of the end for the Japanese Empire. The fall of Saipan signaled a turning point in the Pacific theater, as it allowed the Allies to establish a foothold that would enable further advances towards Japan. The psychological impact on the Japanese leadership was profound, as they realized that their defensive perimeter was crumbling. The capture of the island provided the Americans with a strategic airbase, bringing them one step closer to the Japanese mainland. From Saipan, American B-29 bombers could reach the Japanese home islands, making it a critical launch point for air raids that would devastate Japan's industrial capacity and civilian morale. It also exposed the fragility of Japanese defenses and the growing desperation of their leadership. The Japanese military had fortified Saipan heavily, but the relentless American assault revealed weaknesses in their strategy and execution. The loss of Saipan forced the Japanese to reconsider their defensive tactics and highlighted the diminishing resources and manpower available to them. The battle's legacy, however, extends beyond its strategic significance. It is a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by countless soldiers and civilians. The island is dotted with memorials and monuments that honor the bravery and resilience of those who fought and died there. Veterans and their families often visit Saipan to pay their respects and reflect on the profound impact the battle had on their lives. It serves as a reminder of the human cost of war, the brutality of conflict, and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The stories of individual heroism and suffering are etched into the history of Saipan, serving as powerful lessons for future generations. The battle also had a significant impact on the local population, with many civilians caught in the crossfire and suffering immense hardships. The sacrifices made on that small island in the Pacific continue to resonate today, a testament to the enduring human struggle for freedom and peace. The annual remembrance ceremonies and the preservation of historical sites on Saipan ensure that the legacy of the battle is not forgotten. It stands as a symbol of the cost of war and the enduring hope for a future where such conflicts are a thing of the past.